Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Tasya Sintiya. In here I will presentation about current teaching methodology in listening. Listening is effort to obtain something by using the sense of hearing. One of the abilities in English is listening. Often listening skills are not a pure priority in language lessons. Teaching methods emphasize language skills and grammatical process. Until recently, the nature of listening in second language was ignored by applied linguists, and it was often assumed that listening skills could be acquired through exposure but not actually taught. This position has been replaced by an activity interest in the role of listening comprehension in second language acquisition, but by the development of solid theory of the nature of language understanding and by the inclusion of carefully developed listening course in many ESL programs. Some applied linguistics go so far as to argue that understanding listening is at the heart of mastery of a second language and therefore demands a much great advance in language teaching. Listening in practice. The challenge for teacher in the listening class is to give students some degree of control over listen content and to personalize content so that students can bring something of themselves to the assignment. There are many ways in which listening cards are personalized. For example, it is possible to increase learner engagement by assigning additional assignments that take listening material as a starting point, but which allow the learner to provide a part of the content itself. For example, student might listen to someone explain their work and they create a series of questions to interview that person. As teachers, we focus only on students in two ways. First, a segment can be decided in which classroom action is learner-centered, not teacher-centered in a segment that capitalize on this idea. Students are actively involved in structuring their understanding of language and in building their skills in using language. The second, teaching material like others type of material can be given a learner-centered dimension by involving students in the process that underline learning and making an activity contribution to learning. This can be achieved in the following ways. A. Make instructional goals explicit for the learner. B. Give students a degree of choice. C. Provide opportunities for learners to bring their own background knowledge experience into the classroom. D. Encourage students to develop reflective attitudes to learning and to develop skills in self-monitoring and self-assessment. Okay, the next is step of listening. There was a time when listening in language classes was considered primarily a tool for presenting new grammar. The dialogue on tape provides an example of a structure to learn, and it is the only type of listening practice must learned accept. Ironically, a lot of effort is spent on training learners to express themselves verbally. Vision is lost from the fact that a person can be said to be at least a somewhat fluid in conversation unless one can follow what is being said as well as speak. From the late 19th and 60s, practitioners realized the importance of listening and started setting aside time to practice the skills. Relatively standard format from listening lesson development today. For the first pre pre-listening, pre-teaching of all important new vocabulary in the section. The next steps is listening. Extensive listening followed by generalized context building question, intensive listening followed by detailed understanding question. The last step is post listening, language analysis in text. Why do speakers use the present perfect listening to and repeating? The teacher paused the tape. Student repeat to the words. Only when learners become aware of the unique characteristic of authentic listening input can they be equipped with the skill to handle real-life communication. Awareness raising and skills building exercise that provide students with the opportunity to monitor the of difficulty level of listening input and integrate listening and speaking skills have also been discussed. Thank you for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.